In this problem, I need to factor completely this polynomial, 7z squared plus 17z plus 6. And the first thing in any factoring problem, is there a greatest common factor? Well, if I look at my numbers, 7, 17, and 6, no, there's no numerical common factor, and they don't all have a z in common. So there's no GCF. So I'm going to factor this by using the AC method. So I'm going to compare it to AZ squared plus BZ plus C. So A is the coefficient of the squared term, so A is 7. B is the coefficient of just the Z term, 17, and C is the constant, which is 6. So I'm going to multiply A times C, so it's 7 times 6, which is 42. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 42 and add to B, that is 17. Since they multiply to a positive, the signs are the same, and since they add to a positive, those signs both have to be positive. So I'm going to do this very systematically. I'm going to start with 1 and my number 42. Those multiply to 42. 1 plus 42 is 43, not the number I'm looking for. Does 2 go into 42? Yes, 21 times. So 2 times 21 is 42. 2 plus 21 is 23. Getting closer. Does 3 go into 42? Remember, the shortcut for deciding if a number is divisible by 3 is add the digits up. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 is divisible by 3, therefore 42 is divisible by 3. So 3 divides into there 14 times. So 3 times 14 is 42. And 3 plus 14, is 17. That's the number I'm looking for. So here are my two numbers. They're not my factors. They're the numbers I'm going to break this middle term down into. So I'm going to have 7z squared. And instead of 17z, I'm going to write plus 3z plus 14z plus 6. And now the reason we've done that is I now have 4 terms. How do you factor 4 terms? You do it by grouping. So you look at the first 2 terms. What do they have in common? No numbers, but I think they have a z in common. So if I pull a z out of 7z squared, it's going to leave me with 7z. Pull a z out of 3z, it's going to leave plus 3. Then we bring down the middle sign. And what do the last 2 have in common? Definitely don't have a z in common, and I think the only number they have in common is a 2. So if I pull a 2 out of 14z, 2 goes into 14, 7. So I get 7z plus 2 goes into 6 3 times. Now remember, factoring by grouping only works if this binomial is the same as this one. They are in this case. That's my common binomial factor. I pull that in front, and what does it leave me? It leaves me with z plus 2. Whoops. Sorry about that. Z plus 2. So now I have factored my polynomial. And remember, how can you check it? Foil this thing out. When you foil it out, you should land up with your original polynomial.